We've already seen the rumblings of who's going to be the heir apparent to the Democratic Party, who's going to be Biden's successor in the Democratic Party. Now, a lot of Democrats assumed that would be Kamala Harris because she was the vice president. She's young, she's radical. You know, she's the most liberal senator. She was the most liberal senator in the United States Senate. She was given different responsibilities by the Biden administration, and she's muffed every single one of them up. She thought it was going to be a just campaign trail continued in Washington, D.C. Her staff is quitting because of a toxic environment. She was supposed to be the border czar. She was asked, Jen Psaki, press secretary, was asked by Fox News' Peter Doocy whether Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, was still in charge of the border. Jen Psaki said yes. Look at what's happening at our border. There's the abuse of children who are used in human trafficking rings so that migrants or cartels and coyotes disguised as migrants can gain access to our country and be released because Biden has a catch and release policy where if you have a child with you, you get released into the United States with a court date that, of course, you don't show up for because you're not on the up and up. And that's not what you came for. You didn't come here to go through our legal system and to do it right. You came here to try to slip across our border, violating our laws, and you're okay with using a child to do it. So Kamala Harris is in charge of this. Kamala Harris is in charge of rolling back all of the Trump policies that actually stopped the crisis at the border. And Jen Psaki says Kamala Harris is still in charge of this. So what is Kamala actually doing? As we're seeing drug cartels taking over our borders, as we are seeing these migrant caravans coming to our borders, as we are seeing the abuse of women, the rape of women and children, well, Kamala Harris is set to announce almost $500 million of your tax money and my tax money as a quote-unquote investment in these third world nations, which she thinks will solve the border crisis. And here's what I will have to say. Nothing infuriates me more than when our tax money, that's money that you and I have earned, it's our money, is being given to foreign countries when the American people are hurting. The Biden-Kamala administration have been supportive of policies that shut down people's businesses, ruined their livelihoods, caused restaurants to close permanently. I can't even tell you how many people are unemployed and struggling, and yet instead of returning our money to us, the Biden administration is giving it to foreign nations. So that's the first thing that's infuriating. The second thing is, it doesn't matter how much money you quote unquote invest in third world nations. These people, anybody who's actually on the up and up, any migrant who actually does come to the United States just because they want to seek a better life, which I don't blame them for, I would want to too. No amount of investment is going to turn a third world nation into the United States. So the comparison between where they live now and where we live, our country, our nation, the United States, it's still going to be a comparison where those migrants are going to want to come to the United States, because it doesn't matter how much you invest in a third world nation, and $500 million is certainly not going to significantly change the corruption and the gangs and the cartels and the abject poverty that's happening in those nations. No, that's not going to happen until the governments of those nations fundamentally change and they have a free market system that respects people's individual rights, and people are able to pursue prosperity themselves, and they're protected by a government from, you know, whether it's crime or whether it's gangs or whether it's cartels or whether it's anything, any threat to their individual liberties. That's the only thing that's going to change their desire to come here to the United States. But anyway, Kamala Harris obviously is not the heir apparent to the Democratic Party anymore for that reason and many others.